Greetings to Hi Abba viewers. We have been learning how to speak English. In that respect, we have learnt certain grammar formulas as well as other grammatical nuances we have learnt. In the last video, we have learnt how to change an active voice into passive voice. I have just given formulas. I told you that has to be dealt by example sentences. If you have seen other formulas, I might have written the straight away written example sentence I must have written. But in this respect, you should deal the sentences one by one, then only you will be able to understand. So now we will take simple present tenses and we will deal it, how to change an active voice into passive voice. For instance, I am writing a sentence, Abhi does exercise every day. So now this is simple present tense active voice sentence. Now we know how to write the sentence because it follows the grammatical rules, third person singular, therefore V1 plus S and other rest of the things. Now we can write other tenses also, present tenses also, same sentences using that verb, other subject and object. So this will be in present continuous tense, this will come this way. Abhi is doing exercise every day. The same sentence can be written in present perfect tense this how. Abhi has done exercise every day. The same sentence in present perfect continuous tense will be this way. Abhi has been doing exercise every day. Now in this example sentence, something important to be noted here is this word every day. Now every day can be used for habitual actions that I will deal later in the classes, usage of tenses. Now that everyday thing should not be used in other tenses, but here it doesn't make any difference. It can be in continuous tense as well as perfect tense as well as perfect continuous tense. So that is the beauty of these sentences. Now we will try to change these sentences into passive voice. Now listen. We know how to split this sentence. This is subject, this is verb, this is object. Now only for this sentence I am splitting and writing, other sentences write straight away. So now to change an active voice into passive voice, the object will become subject. Now the object is exercise. Now another important point to be noted here is this word exercise is coming in between the sentence, therefore it is written in small letter. But when it becomes subject, it is the beginning of the sentence. So that has to be written in title case, I mean capital letter. So the object has become subject. Now we know the formula, what is next to be written. Considering this subject, three be form verbs, am, is, are. Among them one will come here. So now this subject is third person singular, it. So therefore here exercise is. Now V3 of the main verb that has to be written. Now the verb is does. What is the V3 of does is done. Now it is done. Then the subject has to become object added with by. So this subject Abhi will become object added with by Abhi. Then the rest of the things we will write as it is every day. So my dear students, hope you understand how it is done, how it is changed. Now considering the sentence, object has become subject, subject has become object, and be form is added, V3 is added. That is how it is done for all the tenses. Now we'll try for the next one. This is active voice, this is passive voice. This is active voice, what we are going to write now is passive voice. So now again same thing, the exercise will become subject. Next will be followed by be form verb is only. This is being continuous tense, another be form verb will be added, that is being. Then V3 of the verb done, then by object which means Abhi, by Abhi, then the rest every day. So now present continuous tense is changed to passive voice. Now we'll go for the present perfect tense. Again this is active voice and this is passive voice. So now how it is done again, exercise comes first as a subject, exercise. Now the has will come again, then extra be form verb, this is being perfect tense, been will come, been, then V3 as it is, because it is already present perfect tense, the verb will be in V3 only. So that same thing done, then by the subject Abhi, then every day. So we have changed the present perfect tense active voice into present perfect tense passive voice also. What is the next is left is present perfect continuous tense. This is active voice. And what is the passive voice? What is the procedure? Now the object will become subject. Is it? No. If you have learnt the formulas already, if you have learnt the tabulation, for all the perfect continuous tense there is no passive voice. So there is no passive voice. So this is how it is done, my dear friends. So now this is present tenses active voice to passive voice, how it is done. Now this is a pretty simple example, because the subject and object are single subjects, that also third person singular, so it won't be difficult. In the coming examples I will give you some difficult examples using 2-3 verbs, also some different verbs, so that you will learn it clearly. So we will see the next set of examples. Dear students, in the previous examples we saw the singular object and the singular subject. So now I am going to give you singular subject and plural object. Now important point you should understand, and there is also interesting something here we are going to see now. For instance, now let us say I am writing this example, her mother buys her flowers daily. Now another point here to be noted is, when I write simple present tense I use this word daily, because for which type of uses present tense is used, that will be dealt later, but then keep in mind daily, I write every day, daily, like that. Now consider this sentence, my dear friends, which is subject, which is object and which is verb. Little confusion. Her mother is a subject, buys verb, usually flowers will be object, and what about this her? Now this is what important we will have to learn. In a sentence there are two kinds of objects. What are they? Now listen, there are two kinds of objects. What is that? One is direct, another one is indirect. Now how do we find out which is direct object, which is indirect object? Now you take the sentence, what she buys. If the question answers what, which, like that, then it is direct. So it is direct object. Whom she buys, if that question is answered whom she buys, then it is indirect object. Now understand, my dear students, in a sentence there can be more than a object, more than one object there can be. So there will be two kinds of objects in a sentence. One is called direct object, another one is called indirect object. Now the problem is with what? We know the rule, object will become subject. But this sentence contains two objects. So which is to be written as a subject? There is a confusion. Please understand, since there are two objects, it can be written in two ways. That is very, very important to understand. Now you see, you can take the direct object as a subject as well as indirect object as a subject. You can write in two ways. Now I write it now for you. You see, take this direct object first. If you take what will come now here? Here flowers. Now this is in simple present tense. So in order to change simple present tense into passive voice, you will have to add be form verbs. Three verbs are there. Now consider the subject. Flowers, it is plural, third person plural they. Then for that reason, instead of is or will come. So small minute details you will have to pay attention, otherwise you will make blunder mistakes. That's why I am giving you this type of examples so that you will clearly understand. So now we are taking this direct object flowers as a subject. Now this is being a plural subject, we write are. Now what is verb? Buys. What is the V3 of buy? It is bought. I mean buy, bought, buying. Then bought will come V3. Bought. Then the object will become subject. So now flowers are bought. Now this object has to be written just as it is. Now her if we write, it wouldn't give meaning. Flowers are bought to her. Instead of that, we'll add something. For her. So now direct object has become subject. The indirect object is there as it is with a little improvement. Now the subject has to go there as an object. So what we'll write here? By her mother daily. So please try to understand this sentence. There are little complications involved in this sentence. There can be two objects. Any object can be taken as a subject. Now we have written the passive voice using the direct object. Now we can do that with the indirect object also. Now again consider another important point. Her is there. So the her has to become subject. We cannot write her as a subject. So what is the pronoun related to her? It is she. Third person singular, she. So she is becoming the subject, and again we are not going to write or, we are going to write is. Why? Because she is a third person singular, for her is will come. So she is, then V3 of buy, bought. Then we write the exam object as it is, flowers by her mother daily. So this example is dealt for a simple present tense. The same sentence can be changed into other present tenses, and that also can be changed into passive voice. We will see that now. So now in order to change this present tense into present continuous tense, there is no much change, a little improvement. If you can do that, then it becomes present continuous tense. Now how this will become present continuous tense? You just see, her mother is buying her flowers daily. Now again this can be written in two ways. We will go for that. Flowers. Now this is plural subject, so instead of is here it is are. Flowers are being bought for her by her mother daily. Same way we can bring the indirect object in front, then her will become she. She is being bought flowers by her mother daily. So now this is present continuous tense. We will go for this present perfect tense. Again, nothing much is to be changed there. So we can make a change here. Her mother has bought flowers every day. Again, we can write the passive voice. Flowers have been bought for her by her mother daily. Now again, we can use the indirect object here. She has been bought flowers by her mother daily. So now for all the present tenses, next is present perfect continuous tense for which there is no passive voice. So only 3 tenses they have passive voice. So we have seen the example, a simple example previously I told you. Now with these 2 type of objects they are there in a sentence, how they can be changed and how can be used, that also we have seen in this example. So my dear friends, in this video we have seen present tenses passive voice, how to change an active voice sentence into a passive voice, for which we have seen examples also. So hope this will be very helpful for you in your future. Continue to watch Abba TV. Thanks for watching. Good luck.